The final presidential debate is over, and holy smokes, was it a debate? What do you guys think?
It was a debate.
There's some holy smoke, too.
I think Hillary won. I know our colleague Scott Greer over here disagrees with me.
Well, I think it's not a matter of who won. It's mainly how the media is going to spin it, and clearly Trump gave a lot of ammunition for the media.
He did.
Especially with him saying that, I'm going to keep us in suspense of whether he'll accept the results, which is going to get into this, that he's undermining our democratic traditions and all this stuff. So there's going to be...
That's like classic Trump, though.
With most of these debates, we really can't tell who won it until the media decides, like 3 days later.
Who told us who won the debate.
And they've gone with these media bits that they've had. So I would say with this debate, it wasn't a total meltdown for Trump, which is probably all he really needs at this time, as he's not doing very well in the polls and he keeps having these scandals pop up. It probably helps him in that regard, but they're going to find little parts of the debate, especially the part of her lecturing him on not accepting the results of the election, and that'll probably be the
I think he completely screwed himself when he didn't just say, yes, I will accept the results of this election. I think that's the headline. You just ruined yourself for the entire debate. He hit her on a lot of stuff. He had a lot of really good points. But by the moment you say, I'll keep people in suspense, I'll let you know on the day of the election, what are you doing? That's not what you say.
He did kind of the same thing, though. And you remember in the Republican primary debate where they all said, you know, take the pledge, and he did not do that.
Yeah, and he later on, he backtracked on that to kind of help him with the party and with the polls and with general voters. I think with this, but it's a larger gambit he's having, because we don't really know what the planning is right now. And maybe the internals within the Republican Party are showing that he's not necessarily doing very well. They might not know. They might know that he's actually might not win this. Maybe the polling's a lot worse with their internals. So he's planning on something else, or something that we don't know about. And I think the fact that he's keeping this open is probably not going to play well in the media, of course, and that's probably going to be the dominant story. Why he said that?
Why did he say it? It's ridiculous. Why do you do that?
He's keeping up with this. I don't know necessarily. But the one point he did bring up, which it's not like saying like dead people are voting, which he could say. It's like, oh, it's all these zombies rising from the grave. Yeah. Which with a lot of these voter rolls, you have that. He doesn't mention the main problem with voter rolls is that there's a lot of non-citizens voting who are voting with falsified Social Security and other
thousands of non-citizens.
Yeah, thousands. Really. Even when they've seen this, they've done studies in Virginia and Pennsylvania, both battleground states.
Texas, I think, right?
Yeah, and a couple of others. There's been thousands of non-citizens, which he didn't bring up, but he did bring up the point that it is rigged in the fact that Hillary Clinton should be running because she should have been charged for crimes involving her email server. Mm-hmm. So that was the point, but then he goes on and is like, I'm going to keep you in suspense. I think, in general, that's going to be the dominant theme, and thus people are going to rule he lost.
I think that's probably right.
Christian, so what do you have to say about... we were kind of waiting throughout the debate, at least I was, for the sucker punch he was going to give. One little quip, like a one-liner he was going to have that was going to be like the mic drop from the last debate. And right toward the end here, in about the last 2 minutes, she's talking and he cuts in and she goes, a nasty woman. I lost it. I was like waiting for it. I was waiting for it and it happened. What do you think about him just leaning in, giving that mid her speaking, just a nasty woman?
I think that's classic Trump. I think another sort of instance of that was where he just looked in the camera and mouthed the word wrong. I thought that was hilarious. But to be honest, I thought that was kind of tame. I mean, I really thought, at this point in the race, he's gonna launch everything he has at her.
Right.
And he was surprisingly, except for a few instances, like, the election result obviously is the main one, he was pretty composed, and he did a good job of not getting down into the weeds and hitting her on the emails, hitting her on her foreign policy or history at the State Department. I don't know. I thought it went well.
Scott, what do you
As
what
a
do you
fan of
think?
television, I wish it was something more ramped up.
As our resident Eagle Patriot, what do you think? What do you think about it?
The nasty woman. Well, he was kind of trying to hold himself. It was clear that whoever Kellyanne Conway and others were like, please don't say wrong, because it's like now it's become like Alec Baldwin's signature impersonation of him in Saturday Night Live is to go wrong, and now it's like kind of ingrained that everyone's like waiting for that joke, but he was still couldn't give into it.
And just saying randomly she's a nasty woman, I don't think that's like the main part. People are just kind of accepting that he's going to have this humorous element, that he's going to say this outrageous things. So him just saying a nasty woman, it's trying to get under her skin, which he did very well in the second debate. When he's able to walk around, and he was able to he was able to take charge, and he was able to like undermine her, and you could tell in her facial expressions, with her fake laugh, that she was getting very teed off about it. And even in this debate, you could tell because she was having the laugh, but they're kind of set there so that it's not able to kind of have the effect that it had in the second debate. But I think most of the debate was really tame for the first 30 minutes, I thought. It was very boring.
Yeah.
Boring. People were like, where's the fireworks? And then eventually he began interrupting her, and they started moving from there. But I think when it came to the issues, he did pretty well. But largely what is going to be seen is possibly they're going to find instances of being a sexist with saying a nasty woman, and of course,
what's worse, saying that she's nasty or saying that she's a woman?
Yeah.
Do you think in the media's mind, really?
I don't know. Maybe if she's a great woman, they wouldn't mind.
What about Chris Wallace? I thought he absolutely crushed it as the moderator. I mean, in terms of Cooper, everyone, I thought he was by far the best moderator. He kept them on topic. He shut them both down a couple of times when Hillary tried to interrupt, and he was like, Hillary, Secretary Clinton, no. And then she shut up, and he let them continue. I thought he handled them really well.
Well, he had said in the lead up to the debate that he wasn't afraid to intervene. He didn't want it to be about him, but he said, hey, get off subject. If this snowballs and looks like it's not going to help the American vote, electorate, I'm going to intervene. I think my favorite part of the debate was when he flat out asked Hillary Clinton about, pay for play at the State Department. And she kind of rambled on, and he cut back in and said, no, this is what this question is directly about.
Right.
Do you want to address it? And she just didn't, and just moved on.
Well, because how can she, right? How can you address
there's
it?
Questions. She also didn't address Bill Clinton's rape allegations as well. She didn't address that. She just didn't.
That's probably smart on her part.
No, she doesn't want to get into those weeds, but there's all these questions she doesn't want to answer. But she was able to move on. But he also forced her to answer the open borders question. It was like instead of fact checking, which is just kind of ignoring or annoying, and just jumping in as fact check. That's not right. It's like saying, well, actually, you said this in a speech. And
he went right back to the speech
instead of fact check or doing it in an annoying manner, he was like, well, hold on, look at the script, look at what you've actually said, and did this to both to Trump and Clinton. And I thought he was very fair in this. He asked very tough questions to Clinton that I don't think was asked in any of the two debates, but he was also very, very tough on Trump. I mean, Trump didn't come out of this debate looking very well, and it was due to a lot of
the line
Chris
of
Wallace's questions. I mean, he didn't throw him softball questions. And I think it was very fair. And I thought it was also a strong move on his part to try to quiet down the debate audience.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Has always gotten out of hand, which got out of hand at both previous debates. And there was a far larger audience and much more unique individuals in this debate. I mean, you had Matt Drudge, you had Malik Obama, you had
Emmett Smith was there.
You had the mother of the Benghazi victim. You had all these people
Marcus
there.
Luttrell,
There's definitely much more of a kind of, by just kind of the guess, it was very much more of an electric
VIP crowd.
Yeah, a VIP crowd. So they were able to. He was keep it calm. It was very reserved, and I think it was probably the most effective debate we've seen yet.
Oh, I totally agree. I mean, so okay, if you guys had to pick your best moments, what do you think Trump's best moment was?
I think it was probably, to be honest, I think there was two. Hitting Hillary on foreign policy and just, what allowed Syria to become Syria. And then pointing out that, Bill Clinton, as of late, has been essentially undermining everything Hillary's saying about Obamacare. So I think those were his two biggest strengths. Scott, you got anything else? I know you do.
I mean, that was kind of it. But I mean,
it was bland on the whole.
It was mostly bland. I think he was pretty good about attacking her on foreign policy and immigration, and bringing up the fact that she's for open borders. I would say his strongest moment, and this was kind of in the rigging election debate, was when he was talking about violence at his rallies, and he was saying,
that was great.
And they were saying about all these improprieties that are going on, and he brought that up, the videos, which I think a lot of people haven't learned about yet.
The mainstream
media is just starting to cover it. today. They've been covering it a lot more today. They weren't really covering it earlier this week. And I think a lot of people aren't aware of that, that the fact that people were getting paid to disrupt his rallies. And I think bringing that up was a very good moment for
Totally.
him.
I mean, he actually did a really, really good job of pulling these moments out of WikiLeaks and bringing them up. Like you guys said, that a lot of the mainstream media isn't covering stuff like that, isn't covering the Project Veritas O'Keefe videos that are showing these Hillary operatives, Hillary campaign staffers going around and inciting violence at Trump rallies and talking about voter fraud. Like, he brought all these things up that people otherwise might not know about. And I mean, I totally agree. I think that was definitely probably one of the most important
I think the
things
other one is also bringing up WikiLeaks is when he said that John Podesta said that Hillary Clinton has terrible instincts, and Bernie Sanders says you have bad judgment, and both combined is terrible. It's terrible. Is like, I think that was like him actually kind of remember. The problem with Trump is like he always has to remember these things, and sometimes he always forgets. But I think in remembering that Hillary Clinton was for open borders and her private speeches and saying these type of things that comes from WikiLeaks and the James O'Keefe videos is probably the strongest moments of the debate.
What about Hillary? What do we think for Hillary's best moments? I mean, obviously, I personally think her best moment was just not bombing massively on anything, because that's all she had to do. But what do you guys think?
To be honest, I don't really have an answer. I mean, I think she did have one good defense of Obamacare, talking about the Affordable Care Act.
Right.
Talking about how...
Excuse me. I have one.
Nothing.
The one thing I would say, her not bombing. I mean, she was kind of coasting along. She's like, look, she was like on vacation last week. We haven't seen her. She's probably going back to vacation. I mean, we're not going to see her. She's probably going to be at the Bahamas until November 8th. So. Look, the best moment that wasn't so coached and just hokey, because everything just comes off as canned, and she's like been repeating it multiple times. I think the best moment for her was when she attacked Trump for the moments about the election results. When she went on this long speech, it didn't sound like things we've heard before. It was saying stuff that a lot of people in the media and even conservatives have been saying. That was probably her best moment, because that was something we haven't heard before, and it looked like she had some emotion, that we don't necessarily see from her, and it wasn't so canned and rehearsed. That was probably her best moment, because she had some like power and emotion with it, which usually we never see with her. It's like my favorite part of the debate with her was she's been mocked so much for trumped up trickle down economics with SNL and other people. She was like, "Oh, this is trickle down economics on steroids." Like she had a new phrase, she had a new canned phrase for it. But when it came to the election results, I think that was her best moment.
I think you're probably.
I mean, really though, Trump essentially laid in the middle of the road and said, "Okay, you can run over me now. I have laid myself out for any amazing answer you want to give."
Unless it comes out that Trump actually did 9/11, there's nothing else that will shock anybody to come out. I don't think.
That's true. Well, we also know that people are. We do have people saying that new videos are going to be coming out, right?
There's rumors. They've been saying that since he got into.
I would have to agree with Christian. There's nothing more shocking than sexual assault allegations coming out. I mean, I don't think they keep saying that like him saying the N-word is going to come out. They came out with him saying racially insensitive things on The Apprentice set already, and nobody was really verifying that. I think there's nothing worse that would come out, and I don't think the Hillary Clinton campaign really cares about any of these more scandals. They're kind of just coasting in.
Well, they already have the bread and butter. They don't need any more.
They believe they are already got this locked up, and they'll just go on, which could be a problem for them if they kind of just like slack off and something crazy happens.
That
in the
actually
next
a lot
weeks.
of the WikiLeaks emails. The Clinton
there's
the
several
dangers
things
of coasting.
There's several things that could happen in this election that could change things. So it's not necessarily a done deal yet, but I think the Hillary Clinton and a lot of the media have this mindset that it's already locked up, which could change things radically in 3 weeks, especially with the crazy news cycle we've had so far this year.
With the WikiLeaks still keep coming too. I mean, who knows
I keep thinking they're done, and then see that there's more.
There's other people they could have hacked. I mean, there's other people they could have hacked. There's other things they could have been saying. Like there's more people could be bashing Bernie. Mm-hmm. There's other things, much more things that can come out from this WikiLeaks. I mean, it's not done yet. And there's also other activities. There could be terror attacks. There could be all these other matters that could be tied to Hillary Clinton's policies or Obama's policies that could come out in the next 3 weeks. So we really don't know what the election is. And I think saying it's already locked in that Hillary Clinton's going to win. I mean, if it happened tomorrow, likely to happen. But the election's not tomorrow.
That's a good point, yeah.
We'll see. We'll have to see
what else
happens.
comes out. Julian Assange, get at us. You probably can't watch this because you don't have Wi-Fi anymore. Actually.
Scott Greer and Christian Datoc. I'm Katie Frates. We're here with the Daily Caller and the Daily Caller News Foundation, wrapping up the final presidential debate with you.